Okay, we're doing heads or tails program. So what we're going to do is comment first coding. So we want to go write our algorithm as a comment. So we want an intro, heads or tails program. We want to get the computer to choose either head or tail. We need to then store that value, that choice, and then get the user to enter head or tail, and we need to store that value entered. And then the next step would be check if the user picked the correct head or tail as the computer, and if display if they were correct, and give points, or display if incorrect and give the computer points. We could then do this step where we loop and play again. Okay, there's our algorithm, and it's all code commenting, so we can actually code directly using code commenting. We can write our algorithm, but at the same time we've sort of commented it. And so so when it says get the computer to choose head or tail, we can use a list for this. Store that value, we can decide on the value, the variable. So I would say computer choice, or comp choice. I could call it that. When the user enters theirs, we could call this user choice. Okay, there's a variable there. And for the points, display points, we could say that'll be user points. And for the computer one, computer comp points. Okay, so there we go. We've got our nice algorithm. It's all sort of sorted. We've thought about username, variables, etc. Now, you of course you don't have to do it this way. I'm just showing you. It's called comment first coding, and it helps keep on track. If you write your algorithm and then write them into comments, turn them into comments like this, then you can just start coding. So first of all, I'm going to import the random library. So I'm going to do this quite fast, and I want to write an intro. So for achieved, I want to go print welcome to heads or tails game, and there's my code. This would be at achieve level, and now I can do this, get the user to use choose a head or tail. So I can go let's make a list. So I'll call it options, and I'll call it head and tail. Okay, and now I'm going to get the computer to randomly pick one and store it. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to get a random. I'll generate a random number. From 0, that's first position, to 1. It's from there to there. Store that, and then we can make a variable called comp choice and store the one that's been picked. Okay, there's storing it. Now that should have head or tail in it. There is other ways of doing it. You could do it like this, random dot choice, and then go options. That's another way of doing it. Okay, that's another way. So anyway, okay, so get the user to enter their one. So I'm going to do two parts. So I'm going to store that. Going to use that and do both parts together. So input, enter your choice of either head or tail. Okay, and that way I've done both of them at once in that one. So right, there we go. Okay, next one, check if the user picked the correct head or tail. Okay, so we need a condition. So if the comp choice, or we can use user choice is equal to comp choice, that means they must have picked head or tail correctly. We can then display if they were correct. We can do this part now. So some of these algorithms you have to do, you can't do them totally sequentially, they have to merge together a little bit. So check if they're correct and give them a message, correct. And what we want to do, it says here, give points to the user. So we'll use that there. Actually, we can just do it underneath there. You can go, okay, I'm just going to indent it, and I'll indent the comment as well. So there we go, and I want to go user points equals plus equals and add 1 to the user points. Now if it is incorrect, okay, so trying to do this nice, else if they got it wrong, I'll put this next to it so it's easier, and there, easier to read. Else if they got it, we will display a print statement saying they're incorrect guess, and we need to, it says here, give the computer points instead. Okay, so this is one way of doing it. You might find it easy to do it this way, maybe, or you might need to just do it the way that suits you. But anyway, you notice how it's all commented. So it's one of the ways comment first coding works quite well, is it automatically makes you comment. Okay, so this will run through once, this will work once. If we want it to play again, we need to indent everything in a loop. So I could say, okay, let's create a loop, and we could have a variable. If we're playing up to 3 games or something, we could keep track of that. So if we go user points, and it's the first one to hit maybe 3 points. So if the user points is not equal to 3 and the computer points, comp points, are not equal to 3, not equal, then we'll keep playing the game until one of them hits 3. So we'll indent all that code, tap it in, boom. Now we can play till it hits, one of us gets to 3 points. Now this is okay, this isn't a great thing because every time we loop around it says welcome to heads or tails. So I think half of this code probably doesn't need to be in there. Okay, so we probably want to take out this code here, boom, chuck it above that because we don't want to keep looping around. So let's not loop that code because it's sort of the same. Okay, so that's better. And every time it's going to get a random, and it might work. Now at the end of the game, after it's looped 3 times, we do want to print out who is the winner. So we could do user score Now we could personalize this by getting them to input their name, and I'll do that in a second. User score is that, and computer score is that, and of course we can do the dot format. Oops. And we can have the user points. Oh, sorry, and the comp points. Okay, displaying. All right, so I've done a lot of. I haven't even checked if it works, but there is a basic program there. We can check if it works and run it. So save that. I'm going to call this heads v1 version 1 and play. Oh, didn't like it. Okay, so user points isn't defined. Oh yeah, so because we have made the user points inside the loop, it doesn't know it, so we have to basically assign them values at the start before we start looping and adding things to them. That's kind of important. All right, there we go. Let's try it again. Okay, it says enter your choice, head or tail. So I go head, and it's going enter your choice, head or tail. Incorrect guess. Okay, I'll go tail. It said incorrect guess. I'll go tail again. Tail again. Tail again. And so I got one right, and that means the user got 2 and the computer won. It got 3. So I could print out the computer wins or something like that. But anyway, it is working as a dry run. So this would be achieve level with some commenting. You put commenting in, okay? By doing comment first coding, you basically commented it. You could comment what these are going to be used for. This is stores the user's points in the game. And of course you could comment this if you want. It's a lot of commenting. Stores the computer's points in the game. Okay, there it is. So this is achieve level. To make it a better program, I would want to validate the user's input here and make that into a function that validates and checks for range and invalids. And I would also want to maybe make the whole thing into a function. So let's corner it off a little bit, and I'll just show you how I could do that. We could go functions area, make that nice and tidy, and then under that have a main program or main routine. Depends how you taught how to do that. Main program means exactly the same, and corner that. So at the moment we have no functions, so I could make a def intro function and break the code up a little bit. So under this intro here, I'm going to copy and paste that, cut and paste into here. So now I've made that a function by calling the intro function. Boom. Nice and tidy. I'd want to comment that function out properly. Get the computer, choose head or tail. I can make a function for that. So we could create one called choice, and actually let's put all of this code here, all of it maybe, into another function. Copy and create, call it def tails heads and underscore and tails, and I can do this and paste it all in. So it's all in a function now. To have it all in. Okay, so I've now got it all in a function, and all I do is call my function there, copy, paste, and now I've made my main routine very tidy. Okay, and I usually put my comments, called my inline comments, I usually put them next to my code there. Okay, I normally, and this comment here would actually be different. This would be basically this would be calling the heads and tails program. So I'll take that out because that's probably this here comment. Yep, and I'll just say I'm calling the function that plays the game. Okay, intro, calling the introduction to the game, and we can then personalize it. We can say we can personalize it a little bit if we want. Okay, so my you can see my main routine is very tidy. It's only 2 function calls. So let's test it and make sure it's working. Head or tail, head, tail, head, tail. Okay, comp 1, I only scored 1, so computer keeps winning. Okay, it's working. Okay, so how could we make it better? We could create, for this one here, a function itself. Okay, so a function for the user input. So we could create another function. User choice or something. User entry. Or user validation. Okay, so we could go, and for this, I'm going to comment it out. I'm just going to copy and paste that. Boom. Cut it actually up to here and replace it down here. Okay, so now that is doing all the work there. Okay, and we want to return it. So we'll go user choice is going to become whatever it returns. Okay, whatever it returns is going to be stored in there, and the rest of the code is going to run. So now we can validate our user choice here by actually make sure we return it. Don't forget that. User choice, and I just want to validate that. So I'm going to loop it. Set it to an infinite loop, indent it, and check for if user choice is valid. So I might want to check, is it equal to head, or is user choice equal to tail? And just keep looping it if they don't put in head or tail properly. Okay, so we'll break out of the loop if it's fine. Otherwise it's going to keep looping. So that there could be my that could be that one. Okay, simple as that. That would be this part here done, and we could personalize that. Personalize this. Instead of welcome to heads and tails, we could say welcome the person's name. So in the intro, we could ask them to enter their name. Enter your name. Okay, and basically insert it, welcome dot format name. And if I'm doing that sort of thing, I need to create another function to validate they've entered a correct name. Okay, I need to call another function for that. If I get them to enter their age, I also need to create a function, validation function for that as well. So you can see how this is working. You can have to have a validation function, make sure it's a valid number, and it won't crash, okay? So, yep, there we go. Anyway, that's getting along, so I will stop sharing now, but this is how to step it up and create the Heads or Tails program.